Okay guys, so here it is. So this is your at home. This is going to be in lieu of your final exam. So your challenge, let's say at this point you've had the opportunity to learn a variety of skills and commodity knowledge from your online work, as well as stuff that you've done on Ruby. You've done on Ruby as well as what you've done in class. And you've learned some techniques, some cooking techniques here in class, some safe food handling, so that's safety and sanitation, and your knife skills. So now your challenge is you're going to choose a recipe that's going to come from Ruby, and you are going to get it approved by me to make sure that it is appropriate for you to use. And you're going to cook something for yourself and hopefully somebody that you love at home. Whether it's for you and one other person, or it's for you and 3 other people, or however big your family is. You might, maybe, want to try and do this over the Easter weekend, but you don't have to. You've got until next week to get this done, right? Remember, you've got 3 days in class to be able to work on things. So this is going to be worth 10% of your mark. And that's it. So, and that includes your reflection piece that's going to be unveiled on Friday. So I'll be opening up a Google form that you're going to be doing a reflection in, and I'll actually be adding it into this assignment. So I'll instruct you guys where that is come next week when you do your exam day. So you're going to demonstrate problem solving to complete a standardized recipe form. So we've done the standardized recipe form. You've all had an opportunity to fill it out. Some of you haven't done it, and that's on you. If you haven't done it yet, and you are unsuccessful at filling it out, and that's because you didn't hand it in and you didn't get the feedback that you're supposed to get. So you're going to be also demonstrating appropriate essential culinary cooking, baking process. You're going to be doing safe, professional, and efficient use of tools and equipment. So that means you're going to be, setting up your cutting board properly, using your knives properly. You are going to be also using proper sanitation techniques. So, washing and sanitizing. There's literacy and numeracy skills in the culinary arts. This is the completion of the supporting documentation, which is the standardized recipe form, and it'll be either in metric or imperial. And awareness of the skills, aptitudes, and demands of the culinary arts. Okay. So you're going to choose a recipe that is you feel will be most successful and appeal to you. So you can choose whatever you want out of Ruby, but like I said, it needs to be approved, and I'll get to that in a second. Things that you might want to think about, because you're going to need to procure or go and get some ingredients if you don't already have them at home. So think about what ingredients that you have in your kitchen at home. What do you have to buy and bring in? Are they accessible? So don't try and make something that you can't buy the ingredients for. What are the time constraints? So are you able to get this done in in a day? Or is it going to take like 3 days to do? Can the recipe be trusted? I think that goes without saying, because you're going to be taking it out of Ruby. Yes, it can be trusted. In the past, I would have you take a look at possible websites or maybe other sources that you could get your recipes from. But the reason I'm asking you to use Ruby is because those are true, tested recipes that are chef tested, and we know that they work. So I don't want you trying to make something from a website that some Joe Blow decided to put up there and is really just a lousy recipe that's not going to turn out, because you're going to be disappointed, and we don't want that. Does the recipe source supply supporting information that will help make the recipe successful? So, example, cooking tips and watch points. There are, like you guys have seen, there's a number of recipes on Ruby, and a lot of them actually have videos that go along with it that'll help you walk you through making these things. So those are fantastic resources to dial into when you're doing this. Your marks are going to be based on complexity of the meal. So that means I don't want you making bowls of cereal and grilled cheese sandwiches and telling me that you are demonstrating your skills. Okay, this needs to you know, you need to show me that you can actually cook something. We've done some pan frying, we've done some boiling, we've done some baking, all here in class. And you guys can, you know, go beyond that if you feel like you've got a pretty good skill set base and can read a recipe and follow it, which is, you know, really important. That's part of the literacy skills that we're talking about. Are you able to follow an order of operations? So if you feel like you can do this and you can follow along with a video, by all means, make it as complicated as you want. Okay? If you hand me in something that's very, very, very simplistic, then I'm going to be looking at very minute details and things to try and pull marks out of this. Okay? And you need to demonstrate your knife skills as well. So I need to see that you can hold your knife properly. You can actually cut proper cuts. So I want you to be able to show me that. So how are you going to execute this? So you're going to research the dish you want to make. Okay, it needs to be a complete meal and incorporate some of the things that you've learned, for instance, cooking pasta, eggs, dairy, grains, and legumes. You're going to reduce or increase the size of the recipe to accommodate how many people you are cooking for, and this will be adjusted in the standardized recipe form. Now, if you find a recipe that serves 4 and you are cooking for 4 people, you are still going to be required to adjust that recipe, meaning that you're going to have to say, I'm going to turn this to make 8 and make 12. Okay, so you're going to times it by 2 and times it by 3 in the standardized recipe form to show me that you know how to adjust a recipe. Okay, creating a shopping list that will be handed in. So I'll show you what the shopping list is, but that's really simple. All you're doing is just putting down ingredients and quantities. You're going to prepare the meal and document the progress by taking photos or video of the process. So if you feel comfortable videotaping you doing it or having somebody videotape you, by all means, go ahead. If you don't feel comfortable with the whole video process, that's okay, but you're going to need to take photos and a number of photos of you in the process of making it from start to finish. So show me setting things up, show me mise en place, show me, you know, some of your knife skills. Show me like how you've cut things, how you've laid out your mise en place, and then the process of putting things together, cooking it, and finally take a photo of your finished dish before you serve it. You're going to hand in a copy of the recipe and the shopping list along with the photo video documentation on Google Classroom. And again, like I said, on exam day, you're going to be filling out the Google form, which is going to be a reflection of your work. So the design has to include the standardized recipe, full method of preparation with logical step instructions, a list of tools and equipment necessary to complete the technique, and your supporting paperwork. So just like you guys did in the exercise when we were completing our standardized recipe forms. Okay, so that's your document that kind of explains everything. And give me 1 second here. And I will let this person into the meeting because they're late. And we will continue on. So, again, your standardized recipe form, you guys have all seen this. So I'll just pull it up again. And this stuff here, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. I don't know why I've... whoa, don't want to do that. So I'll be deleting all this stuff. Don't worry about it. This is going to be blank for you. So you know how to fill this thing out, but you can see here, I just did a quick little demonstration the last time that I put this together for my last class. So this was to do the chicken and mushroom sauce. So you can see how I've done it here. You guys all know how to do this by now. You copy and paste your steps into here. You put in your oven temperature, your cooking time, tool and equipment, and your indicators of correct cooking, internal food temperatures. So all of that stuff. And then finally, if you take a look at your grocery list, you'll fill one of these things out as well. And you can see here that I filled this out as well as a demonstration. So I put in under proteins, anything that's going to be a protein. In this case, it was chicken breast. Dairy, in this case, it was 35% cream. I had some asparagus as vegetables. I also had some penne pasta, some flour, some chicken stock, and really that was about it for that. So you can see it goes under pantry items. If you have any frozen items, it would go under there. You really don't have to worry about paper items and cleansers and cleaning equipment because that is something that we use when we are doing grocery lists here in class if we were to be doing caterings. So disregard these things. And you will see also up on top here it says quantity. So I know that I need to buy 4. And the measure, I know that I need to buy pieces. Asparagus, it was a half and a pound. So really what you're doing is you're taking your standardized recipe form and you're transferring that information into your grocery list. Okay? So that is that. Now, approval of recipes. So if I go into Ruby and I take a look at things, I'm going to go ahead and launch this. And I go into recipes. And again, you guys have all been in here and you've all seen this. Okay. I'll come along and I will look at this and I will say, okay, if I was a student, I would be looking for something that is a full meal. Okay. So this is what I took for the example before. This was chicken breast with mushroom cream sauce. Okay, and as I go through this thing, I will see that I've got, the chicken breasts and I've got the pan sauce, but there's nothing else here. So I'm going to want to fill this thing out. I want to have a side dish with it. So I want like some vegetables. There's some asparagus there, and this was served with a little bit of pasta, as you can see. So that's why I'm going to be approving your recipes, because it needs to be a full meal. You can't just do a chicken breast. It needs to be something that's going to be served with something else. Now, in this case over here, you've got Mario Batali's lasagna alla bolognese al forno. This would be considered an acceptable recipe because it has quite a bit of different things in it, and it's a one-dish thing. Take your time, go through it, find something that's interesting to you. If you're going to do like Indian potato patties, aloo kitiki, you might want to put that with something else, maybe a vegetable side that you could serve it alongside with. Okay, a loaf of bread is not going to be considered a meal, right? A creme brulee is not going to be considered a meal. But if you wanted to do, a complete meal, you wanted to do creme brulee and do some steamed lemon garlic chicken with thyme, and maybe a couple of these. Or some sort of potato dish, I would accept that. Or even French fries. So, again, submit it to me in a document, send it to me, ask me for approval, and then you can continue on with getting your work done. Don't go and do your work before you get approval, because I might just say you're going to need to do more, okay? Or that's great, who knows. Okay, guys, that's about it. I'm going to shut off the recording here.